Yes, everybody, thank you for joining me. Thought I would do a quick little, in my opinion, on what's going on with Jack Grealish. So, there's a lot to talk about, there's a lot to cover, and I'm not even going to get into whether I think he's a suitable signing for United or how good I rate him as a footballer. Let's just talk about him, his attitude, his off-the-field stuff, and where I think that means... or what I think that means for United and signing him. Right, so in the 14-15 season, he made a total of 24 appearances as an 18, 19-year-old, and shown a lot of promise and got a lot of people excited, but at that time, it all wasn't praised for him. In the sixth round of the FA Cup, he was sent off for a second booking for diving in extra time, and there's been a lot of talk about diving with Jack Grealish. Since that moment, actually. It's not the sort of thing that you want to be known for, not the sort of thing that you want to make a name for. In April 2015, he was warned by the Villa manager at the time, Tim Sherwood, after The Sun published images showing him allegedly inhaling nitrous oxide for recreational purposes. After this, in the new season, he chose to stay in Liverpool after they got beat 4-0 by Everton. In November to go out clubbing, which Remy Gard, the new manager, punished him by making him train with the under-21s until December. The 15-16 season continued to cause a bit more trouble. Each of the 16 Premier League games that he featured in ended in a defeat, breaking a record for worst season. In September 2016, Villa opened an internal disciplinary investigation after reports that Grealish was at a party in Birmingham, which had to be shut down by the police. In response, the owner Tony Gia wrote on Twitter that Grealish had to focus on and off the pitch and associate with the right people. Now, many thought that he changed his ways and matured when he was given the captain's armband by current manager Dean Smith. And this season's performance in a pretty shit Aston Villa team, it looks like his attitude on and off the pitch is getting pressed for the right reasons, seeing him linked to the likes of United and some other clubs. That was until the car incident happened last weekend. Various newspapers reported that Grealish's car had hit a number of parked vehicles in Solihull, and the incident came just hours after Grealish had posted on social media asking fans to stay at home because of the coronavirus lockdown. He has been fined and disciplined by the club, and the proceeds have been donated to the University Hospital charity in Birmingham. Jack has since come out and posted an apology video on social media, which was such an obvious forced apology. It didn't really feel right, did it? But either way, he did it. I just want to do a quick message about how deeply embarrassed I am by everything that has happened this weekend. I know it's a tough time for everyone at the moment, being locked down for so long. I got a call off a friend asking to go round to his. I stupidly agreed to do so. I hope everyone can accept my apology. Doesn't actually even say sorry. Just says, I hope you can accept my apology. We can move on from this, and in the near future we can be out enjoying ourselves again once it's all boiled over. Since that, Ian Wright spoke on BBC 5 Live on the situation, and he's shown a bit of compassion for him, saying that he hopes that this has been a turning point for Grealish. And he told a story about how Grealish is actually down to earth and humble. The Mail are reporting that Jack Grealish's move to United is still expected to go through despite the incident, but that Solskjaer is adamant that his players show proper discipline in a deal that could be worth up to 80 million. Everyone does make mistakes when they're younger. I've definitely made some. I'm sure pretty much everyone watching this has made some. Probably continues to make some. But how many second chances does somebody get? Do we take a risk on someone that's a promising footballer? It's absolutely clear that he's got the talent. Maybe he needs the right crowd around him. But what I'll say is this. If this is how he's behaving at Villa, could he handle the increased scrutiny and pressure of playing for United? Because if he couldn't handle sitting inside for a few days, as it was at the time last weekend, before bottling it and going out and crashing your car, I think there was alleged that he might have been drinking as well, which isn't a good look at all. How do you cope with the absolute monsoon of attention that you get at United? Personally, I have no idea. I won't tell you that footballers should be role models, because I don't believe footballers should be role models. I believe footballers should be footballers, and they should be the absolute best at being footballers that they can be. If drinking hampers his performance, for me, that's an issue. If social media hampers performance, then it's an issue. If it's not, I don't care what players do. In fact, few of you will remember this, I think, because it happened in the pre-social media time. If it happened now, you wouldn't be able to move for it. But in the week of the FA Cup final, 1999, Roy Keane couldn't play in the Champions League final because he was suspended. So this is literally his cup final that he can play in, club captain. Roy Keane spent some time that week in jail for assaulting a woman in a bar. Fergie literally had to go to Bootle Street police station and get him out. We all want our footballers to be this perfect role model. But if you end up with them all being this perfect role model, they don't say fuck or bugger, they never get booked. You end up with Gary Lineker and Michael Owen, these beige, boring knobheads. It's the character. It's the rogues. It's the Jack the Lads, the flawed genius. That's who fans relate to. That's who fans love. That's who fans will sing about on the terraces. That's who can make a good team a great team. From George Best to Whiteside to Cantona to Roy Keane and even Wayne Rooney. Players who had an edge. Players who had a wild side. Players will never be forgotten. If we sign Grealish, I think it could go one or two ways. We could see him go on and become a legend and dazzle everybody in our side and occasionally do some absolutely mad shit. Or he could become Anderson. And he could become someone known for getting on it on a Wednesday night and missing training the next day. We don't want robots. We want character. Character is what makes us love this thing. But there does have to be a line. The line needs to be, does it affect your game? If it doesn't affect your game, you're not breaking the law. I don't give a fuck what you do. No, like pitch Marcos Rojo sending dick pics to people. If they ask for it, sound. If they didn't, well, he's got a problem. I honestly couldn't give a fuck what the players get up to. As long as they're not breaking the law, and as long as they're not hampering their performance on the field. And that's why I had an issue with Wayne Rooney getting knocked out in his kitchen, drinking. Because that's some serious shit. I had an issue with Wayne Rooney drink driving. Because that's illegal. And other players, I've got an issue with them doing it. Not because it's Wayne Rooney. If it affects your performance or breaks the law, problem. If it doesn't, couldn't find a fuck to give. Don't care that Lindelof likes to wear a dress. Don't care that Pogba likes to do his hair. Don't care that Jesse likes to dance. I don't care about any of those things. I care about are they being good footballers. Jack Grealish is a fucking top draw footballer. And there's a level of class and attitude that being a bit of a rogue can bring to a team. And I'll say it, my old man used to say, every team can have one dickhead. And dickhead's not necessarily a derogatory thing. It's someone that's allowed to be different. Someone that gets treated differently. Cantona got treated differently. Ronaldo got treated differently. I imagine George Best got treated differently by Sir Matt Busby. I'm not saying Grealish is on the level of any of those players. But without giving him the opportunity, we'll never know. What are you lads saying in the comments? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Aaron says, Grealish has less talent and has done worse than Pogba, yet we want to get rid of Pogba and bring in Grealish. The difference being, mate, and I think he is, I don't think he is as good as Pogba, but he wants to be here. Yeah. Chris says, 50,000 people have died from COVID, 1 million contracted it, a deadly virus, fuck Jack Grealish at the moment. Now that is an attitude I can get behind. That is an attitude I can get behind. He fucked up. Like I said, we've all fucked up at times. What does it mean for us in a football sense? Grealish and Sancho would make such a difference to our team. What's that from William? Why do we want Grealish unless Pogba leaves? We already have an attack-heavy midfield and Grealish isn't even a mid. I think he probably plays... I think we're about to see how United play altered a little bit different. Brian, after the bollocking Ollie gave Lingard over a joke Snapchat video. I can't imagine Ollie wanting Grealish anymore after that. Like I said, people treat talismanic talents a little bit differently. Charlie, I hate the dickhead players, but they do make the difference in the mentality of a team, as shown by Cantona. Ibra's a good example. Yeah, Ibra would be any team's dickhead. The way he talks about himself, that's a pure dickhead move. But you can't deny what he's about to do for that team. When is the next United history video coming up? It was recorded yesterday. I think it's scheduled to come out in about 7 or 8 days. Can I imagine the outrage if Tony Marshall got drunk and crashed his Range Rover? That's what I was saying at the start of the video. I wonder if... I do have question marks over certain things in Grealish's character. And one of them is the ability to handle the pressure at Manchester United, because it's significant. And it's something you have to take into account for when signing a player. I don't think Memphis handled the pressure of being a Manchester United player, and I think he suits it fine at Lyon, and perhaps that's where he thrives, where there's perhaps not as much pressure. I don't think any of us who haven't played for Manchester United could even begin to quantify what it's like. I see Marcus Rashford at the moment doing only amazingly positive things for the homeless, for the children, and for the key workers in this city over the last 4 or 5 months. And I'm seeing him still get attacked on a daily basis by people saying he's not doing enough. What the fuck? And there's still people saying he's shit, and if he doesn't score penalties, then what's he even done? So I know for a fact that if Grealish or any player, we've seen the overreaction. We see the overreaction that we got with everything that happens with a United player. And when another Premier League player does it, it's just not as big news. If we count Grealish out over this, you'd have to release several players in our own squad, allegedly. You might allegedly be correct on that. If Ant McPartlin can get away with it, I'm sure Grealish can. He was smash-ettoed, wasn't he? He should like what Michael Owen was as a young player, play a game of snooker. No, shouldn't be like Michael Owen. Michael Owen's not the example. He's fucking boring, isn't he? Like, if I was given the opportunity to do an interview with fucking Michael Owen or another YouTuber, I'd pick a fucking YouTuber. He just strikes me as one of the most dull, dour people in the fucking world. Who gets remembered? It's the rogues. That doesn't excuse being a dick. I'm just stating the fact that we remember the rogues. As United fans, does any of you give a fuck that Cantona assaulted a fan? No, at all. Couldn't find a fuck to give about it. In fact, I don't have it here. I've got a book about the 250 days he was suspended. I fucking love it. Like, does anyone give a shit about some of the antics George Best got up to? No, because it's fucking George Best and he can do what he wants. We do allow people who are fantastic a bit of leeway. And maybe that's wrong. But it happens. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Have you personally gone off Grealish because of this? Do you think United have gone off Grealish because of this? Would you still like to see him back in a United shirt? Or in a United shirt, I should say. Like I said, let me know in the comments. Cheers to all the absolute legends that have joined to Patreon. We have got the link down here, which you can see. We are heading towards 1,500 patrons. I'm about to record the Patreon podcast, so if you are a patron and you are watching, head over to Discord, get your question in, because I'll be recording it as soon as I finish right here. So that's the little Q&A that we do every single week. There's loads of different perks in that for being a member on Patreon. And if you want to keep this channel and a little bit of Stretford Paddock going as well over this weird period where we don't have a fucking clue what's going on, and if you're able to, then check the link in the description, see what it's all about, and see if it's for you. But that's it from me for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. I have got a Bruno Fernandes video coming out tomorrow, and there's a short list about goalkeepers on Sunday. We are not stopping with the content. If anything, we're probably doing a little bit more than we used to because I've not got the commute. It's just hard trying to find things that are interesting to talk about. We've got some amazing, trust me, genuinely amazing warm downs coming, including Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. So keep it locked for all of those, and I will see you guys in the next one.